Hi, this is Ralph Reyes for Club Solutions Institute. This month we are focusing on standards and the importance of reinforcing them and how we keep them in place and how it reinforces our culture long term. So, a couple things I want to talk to you today about is how we keep those standards in place. And really the key is one, linking the standard to one of our core values. And I'm going to give you an example of that in a minute, but when our standards are linked to our values, then everybody has the context of understanding how it all fits together. You've got to have training for the new people that come on. Every person that you hire changes the culture of the company just a little bit. But the more that you can establish a set training program for what your core value is and then the standards that attach to that, the better chance you're going to have of those things lasting and sustaining themselves for a long period of time and it really being enculturated into your culture. And then the third one is talking about it, measuring it, rewarding it, making it important regular basis. And that's really important for people to know. When they hear the leadership talking about it, then they know it's important and they make it important for themselves. So without training, new hires come in, they sort of maybe hear sort of legacy stories of way things used to be. And before you know it, what used to be a standard and part of your culture slips away to the point where it becomes something that we just all used to do. And then sometimes maybe the old timers start thinking, hey, remember we used to do that? Or we think about, man, we were so good when we were good at doing whatever. So let me give you a positive example from my experience working in the clubs. And that is the core value that we had was we were obsessed with cleanliness. And what connected to that was basically anything related to maintaining the facility, whether it was cleaning, repairing, upkeep, whatever. But we were obsessed with that because we knew that was such an important part of the member experience. So that was our core value. Now, the standard we set was that every morning we expected the GM, when they entered the building, their first thing that they did was put their bag down, put their lunch away or whatever, but go and walk your building. Walk the building, interact with the members, interact with the team, take a look at all areas of the club and see what's going on. Is there anything that's out of standard? Is there anything that needs attention or repair? Is there any department that's maybe fallen short on service because they're understaffed and they need help? Anything like that. But the GM has to be responsible for getting out and walking and knowing what's happening in their building first thing. Then they do it midday, and then they do it before they leave at the end of the day. So at least those 3 times. And that set precedent over returning emails or anything like that. Now, in a department head level, we expect that same thing within their department. The first thing they did was check everything related to their department. So that was the standard. Now, how we reinforced it and rewarded it is we scored it. We did monthly walkthroughs where we would score departments based on certain criteria. So we scored it. We rewarded it because it was part of the bonus program overall. Not a big part, but it was a part of the bonus program. And we recognized high achieving departments regularly and quarterly meetings and those types of things. But the scoring and how we evaluated was very public. And it was very, very obvious that was important to us. And it took a lot of discipline every month to make sure that people were doing all those aspects of what the standard was. So that was very much the culture of what our company was and tied it all the way back to what our core value was. So that's an example for you. So here's my exercise for you. Is one, think about your core values and do your standards that are out in the facility, out in the building. Are they apparent to the team? Do they connect? If they don't, it's a great thing to start thinking about is what our core values are, and then how do we create standards around that? The second one is our new hires clearly being trained on what those core values and then what the standards are. Because after we do orientation and we go through the core values, standards are daily, right? That's something that's happening constantly. So that always needs reinforcement after the initial onboarding. So are we doing a good job with making sure that the new person understands what the expectations are related to our standards? And if not, that we're correcting, and maybe we didn't quite get the right person for that position because they don't want to be obsessed with cleanliness, for example, but that's okay. But we know what our standards are and we're not going to compromise that. And then the third question for you is there something that you would say, oh, we used to do that really well and it slipped away from us? And that's okay, it happens. But the evaluation of, is that important enough to bring it back? And do we want to get really good and really disciplined on it and make that something that is one of our standards that we're gonna reincorporate into our daily work? So have a great rest of the week, and there you go. See ya.